Since I was a child, I always wanted to grow trees and especially apple trees. I had an apple tree in our garden. I didn't know much about it, so unfortunately, when I was teenager, when we decided this apple tree was infested with a lot of disease, to uproot it, I did that for my parents. It was a kind of rare old tree, probably about 50 years old or so, and always had that longing for growing an orchard. I'm talking today about a man who you can call him Apple Man, Stephen Hayes. He's a GP with a specialty in cancer, skin cancer, and he has an orchard. I think it's about 9 acres or more, or something around that size, probably more. And in 1980s, he saw a newspaper advert for a few apple trees, and the names were very attractive to him. So he decided to keep that newspaper cutting. So Stephen Hayes had that in his mind. So by pure chance, when he was young with his wife Julia, they were able to find actually a piece of land in Hampshire, south of England, and among the sunniest places in southernmost part of the England, which was on sale by a widow of someone who could not manage the land and just was selling it for about £30,000, which is quite cheap for a land. And he was able to buy that. He says that the moment that he bought it, he fell on his knees and thanking God for that with his wife Julia. And they started to build their dream, and that is making an orchard. He has a YouTube channel with about 600 or 700 videos, each one of them about his orchard, about the tasting of his apples and pears, recommendations on the varieties, the planting of the fruit trees, occasional trips to France and Germany and other places that he has. Or in the January area times, he has this cyan wood, this pen-sized woods from the apples that he sends to the people for free, just to help them to graft them on the rootstock, keep the varieties genetic heritage of it alive and going in the other orchards around Europe. Of course, he says that he can't send only to Europe because of the EU being one union, and you can send without restriction from one side to another side. To America and other parts of the world, you have these kind of restrictions of the sending of the plant material to other places. Very good videos he has. And he has that, again, that like Rick Van Man. He has that charm. Of course, Rick Van Man is a single person. We don't see anybody else in his life. But Dr. Stephen Hayes, he's a married man. He has 2 kids. One of them has a kind of disability. He was talking about it in one of his blogs. He has an interest, political interest, which I don't like to discuss about it. He is interested in UKIP, or was interested. I don't know. Is he interested now? But he has some extreme ideas about foreigners, or in a way, not foreigners. You can say Muslims, probably. Which, anyway, I can live with it if he's against it or not. And he has also a view against the evolution and the Darwinism and such. He has a weblog called Darwin Adders. He's writing a book about that, or has written several chapters, or a book, or first volume and second volume has written about this subject that he wants. Anyway, you have to look for yourself on that. He has in that website he discusses the current affairs sometimes also. But I'm talking about his fruit and apple and orchard video YouTube channel. And kind of he's an entertainer. I must say that he has that charm. He talks well in English and elegant language. Of course, he's an educated person. And His videos are very interesting. I'll play a few of them just to let you see what he's about. This is the tasting video by him from the apples from his orchard. I think this was dated in August or September. These are early apples that he's, of course, comparing. He has a lot of videos about the grafting of apple trees, and very educational in that sense, because also he teaches about the skin cancer, melanoma, and okay. He has also an interest in the selling his apples. He used to sell a lot in in a market stall that he had in the town of Winchester, in the Winchester market. But because of he was not making much money on that, and practically making loss sometimes, he gave up on that. And also he said that he's getting old, and he's past his 60s, and he's scaling down. But he keeps a lot of apples now and changed the varieties, grafted again over the old apples that he had, other apple varieties. I find his YouTube channel very interesting and informative, full of information. If you want to know anything about apples and pears and growing plums and other things, I think this is one of the most interesting and educational, and at the same time entertaining, attractive video YouTube channels that you can find. And I don't think that you can find anything better than that from someone actually who is doing this stuff and is eating the apple. You may see some other people growing things, but they don't like it, like Sean James Cameron, that in his YouTube horticultural channel. I think he practically does things because he just brings some money to him. Otherwise, he's not interested in eating or enjoying agricultural products or farm products or vegetables or fruits. For him, it's just a way of socializing and other things. But Dr. Stephen Hayes is somebody who does what he talks about. And it was my inspiration, in a way, to follow my own dream of growing an orchard. When I started to have my own apple trees, I found out, there are videos about that by him. Unfortunately, I found it late because at that moment I was relying on some books to get some information about the apple variety that I wanted. But later, when I discovered that when I was at the expanding stage of my apple orchard and other fruit trees that I was planting in allotment, I used his advice a lot, beside the other sources that I used. So if you want to know about the apples and fruit trees and everything, I don't think you can find anything better than that.